Welcome back to Rad City Resin. Today's video is brought to you in collaboration with a group of amazing artists from all around the world, all participating in the Christmas in July challenge. You'll find more videos just like this one in the playlist linked in my description. Be sure to watch all the way to the end to support all of our channels. Today, we'll be making, surprise, surprise, another flower. I know what you're thinking. Can this lady make anything but flowers? Yes, I promise, and you'll see those one day, but today is not that day. We're gonna be making a poinsettia. This is a fun project and it's super meaningful to me. My mother absolutely loves poinsettias, and every year she buys tons of real plants, fake plants, basically anything she can find. So this project is in honor of her. Let's start with our materials. As always, you can see my complete list of supplies at the link in my description, or you can go to direct.me/radxcity to see all my favorite supplies. We'll be using this faceted cabochon mold, 2 Picasso alcohol inks. You can use any color, but I'm keeping it traditional today. So this is poppy red and emerald green. We'll also be using UV resin. I bought this bottle a while ago from a local craft store. I don't even really think it has a brand, but I'm trying to use it up. You'll also want a focal bead for the center of your flower. This isn't necessarily required, but I think it gives a really pretty finish to the piece. I'm going to use a pen back to turn it into a brooch, but you can use any sort of finding you prefer. Let's start by making our petals. We're going to use this cabochon mold. Any teardrop or petal shape will work. This just happens to be my favorite. I'm going to fill the 3 largest wells with my UV resin. You can fill it completely, or you can do a shallow pour if you want your petals to be a little thinner. That will definitely make your piece a little bit lighter. I filled each well completely, then used a lighter to pop any surface bubbles. If you use this method, please make sure you're extremely careful and in a well-ventilated place. Honestly, I don't really mind having a few bubbles now and then. If I really wanted this to be absolutely perfect, I'd be making it with glass, not resin, so please don't sweat those small bubbles. Okay, now that I'm off my perfectionism is bad soapbox, I'll move on and complete 3 more sets of these. I want to make sure I get a good cure, not only on the top, but also on the underside. I'll set my mold directly on top of the light to give it a good cure on this side too. Now that I have 4 sets of each side, I'm going to begin building my flower. I'll start by laying all 4 of the largest shape with the curved part inward. I want to create a 4-point formation. This will leave a little gap in the middle, and I'm going to put a little dab of resin right in the center and use my tool to make sure it's touching all 4 pieces. Then I'll use my light to cure. I'm going to repeat this process with the other 2 sets of petals until I have the 3 layers of my flower. Next, I'm going to color them. Normally, I would add the alcohol ink directly to my resin, but I want these colors to be really dark and vibrant, so I'm going to literally paint it on. This part is super messy, and in my test run, I completely dyed my left thumb green. So be sure to wear a good pair of gloves and definitely protect your work surface. You can do this with paint markers, really whatever you want, but I was kind of going for a translucent color, so I went with ink. Okay, so I'm satisfied with the colors. They're nice and bright and vivid, and I'm going to let them air dry for a few minutes before moving on to the next step. Now this would be a perfect time to go hit that subscribe button. This part is really fun. I'm going to layer the 3 pieces to create my flower. I'll put the larger green part down first. Then on each of the green petals, I'm going to put a small dab of resin. I will lay my next layer directly on top of that. Ideally, I want a little of the resin to kind of leak out of the side to make sure that that top layer stays put. I'll go ahead and cure this for about 45 seconds. I'll do the same thing with the next layer. Again, a small dab on each of the petals, then lay that 3rd layer on top. Again, I'm going to cure for another 45 seconds. Finally, I have this sort of flat gap in the middle. Now I could paint that or put glitter in it, but I have this really cute little focal bead with a Swarovski crystal in it, so I'm going to use that. I'll put a small dab of resin right in the middle, then awkwardly and clumsily place it right in the middle. Definitely the more awkward and clumsy, the better. That's what I always say. I literally dropped it on the floor before and had to cut that out. And you guessed it, another cure. Okay, at this point, the piece is finished and you could turn it into a necklace or attach it to a bracelet, whatever you want. So I'm gonna turn it into a brooch and have my mom wear it this Christmas. So I'm gonna take this pin back and attach it using a thin line of resin right in the center of the backside. Okay, here she is. I really love how it turned out. It's nice and lightweight, but it's also pretty sturdy, so fingers crossed, I'm hoping it won't get broken before Christmas arrives. Once again, thank you to everyone participating in the Christmas in July challenge. Please check out the other videos in the playlist, subscribe to some new channels, and I'll see you back here on Tuesday for our regularly scheduled programming. Have a great day and happy crafting.